Hi there, and welcome to the HR Podcast. This is Linda Misegadis
and Cyndi Manuel, and we'll be your co-hosts. After spending years working in and with HR, we thought, why not start a podcast to support the important HR community? We believe the way things have always been done isn't necessarily what's going to work in the future. So we're diving into topics that support HR and working women as they navigate the future of work. We're talking about professional growth and also how we can support each other as human beings.
We can't wait to bring you insights from HR experts, thought leaders, and inspiring women who are making a real difference in their organization and communities. They'll share their journeys and tips on balancing work and life in a better way. We're excited to learn alongside you and hope you'll pick up some great takeaways from tips and tricks to worksheets that you can actually use in your daily life. So grab your favorite beverage
or lace up your walking shoes and join us for the HR Her Resources podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Her Resources podcast. I am your host, Linda Misegadis, and today's episode is a very special one. Over the past year, this show has grown into something truly meaningful to me and hopefully to our listeners out there as well. It's a space where we've celebrated women in leadership, we've explored the evolving role and world of human resources, and shared stories of growth, resilience, and courage. We've had some really amazing guests. And today I'm joined one last time as co-host, my dear friend and co-host, Cyndi Manuel, who has been my partner in this journey, and our incredible producer, Logan Misegadis. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Long-time listener, second-time caller.
That's right. Exactly. No, it's so funny. And this has just been such an incredible ride, and I'm excited that we're going to continue forward, but we'd be remiss if we didn't take this opportunity to reflect back on the incredible journey that the three of us have had together. And I thought it'd be kind of fun just to reflect back a little bit on how did this podcast begin? What even inspired the Her Resources podcast? And for that, we can let our producer speak to it because this was really his vision.
Yeah, as silly as it is, and I don't want to take full credit for it, but I think that was kind of, we'd been doing a podcast before. And, I think that there was something that I noticed as a trend, especially, obviously, yes, I'm a straight white male, so I understand where I fit into that space. But I think that there's just something about hearing the knowledge and stuff. One, it's been so awesome to be a part of that conversation and hearing those kind of things develop. But yeah, I think having a space for people that can be resourceful, right? That's how we. And I remember we even had a different name at first. I can't remember what it was. It was Women on Work or something like that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was. Women on Work or so. It was wow.
Oh my gosh, I had forgotten about that.
That's
and
right.
it was actually my partner, Sean Zay, was the one that threw the HR Her Resources one at me. And I was like, that is a brilliant
shout
idea.
Shout out to Sean Zay. That's
right.
So I think that's kind of, it started with that of just kind of wanting to produce meaningful content. I think in a space where so much of this stuff is feeling very vapid, and we wanted to make something that was communicative to people. And I think we've accomplished that, and I'm looking forward to how we're doing it more. But I think that it's been very insightful for any person who's been a part of it, and bringing them alongside. We really hit our mark in a place where we kind of didn't know at first, because I think that was where we landed it. We were just let's try it. We reached into our networks and the people that y'all knew, and it really branched out from there. And now it's come to the point where, we have people reaching out to us, and we're building that more and more, which is exactly kind of, that's what I wanted to see happen from a project perspective. That's where I wanted to land on a podcast. It's what does it take to do it? And I saw a good option for something to be able to make that happen. And I think that it's exceeded any expectation I think any one of us has had already.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. I think so too. Well, and Cyndi, what made you jump on the bandwagon to do this crazy journey with us? It's not like you were sitting at home going, gee, I wish I had some work to do. I wish I had something I could spend some time with. So what made you jump in with us?
Well, number one, you. Linda. I mean, come on. You asked me to do something. The answer was yes. And then it's like, oh, wait a second. Who will our audience be? Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, I had always thought, gosh, it would be really cool to do some sort of a podcast, but I would have never thought, like, I would have never been comfortable enough to have gone out on my own. I also, when you guys we did talk about who is our audience, and part of it was human resources. It was women. I come from human resources. I'm a woman. So it was like all the things sort of. And I thought, and Linda, you and I have always said, like, if we could just record some of the conversations that we have.
Oh, for sure. Yes, those would have been great episodes.
Yeah. I mean, and so it was something that was a stretch for me. It was, but also when I came to the city and county of Denver back in 2007, that was a stretch for me. You called me. I was at an airport in Arizona waiting to fly home. I was a road warrior at that point, and you were like, so I'm at the city and county of Denver. We're making this massive change. Would you like to come and, work with me and roll this thing out? So I just am one of those people, I think, that I will learn to fly as I'm building the plane, and you're just a great co-pilot. So, or you're the main pilot maybe, and I'm the co-pilot. So,
nope, we lifted each other up at different times for sure. No, absolutely, it's a great partnership, and I look back at our times together because this is our third time working together, and everyone was a great experience. And when I was down and out at the city, you always lifted me up, and hopefully I was able to do the same for you, and it was a real partnership for sure. So I mean, I think it made such a big difference. And here, it's like this has been such a fun partnership to do with you. And I was thinking back on when we started this and trying to figure out how we were going to do it, and you brought forward your incredible intern at the time, Lauren Banas, who came in and really helped us out as well. And I think now, isn't Lauren off doing change management? So
yeah, she sure is.
Crazy?
She's amazing. If you guys want to hook up with Lauren, Banas, on LinkedIn, she is incredible and just had some wonderful ideas and helped with the original logo and the postings, the social media stuff. So thank you for bringing her up. Yes.
For sure. And the reach out. And that's the thing about this kind of process. I think for me, that was something is like, you need a team. Like you need people who, I know I do a lot of like the tech stuff and like the behind the scenes work, but it's just like the only way that stuff works well is if, everybody involved is kind of, playing at that same level. And I think that was something that was so nice for me, especially coming from working in music and working with people who don't necessarily care what they're doing or why they're even there. It's it was a very nice change of pace. Yeah, exactly.
It's a different audience, different group for sure. Well, and then we'd be remiss if we didn't call out your wonderful daughter, Kylie, who came in and did a little photo shoot with us back in the beginning as well to kind of get us started, because you and I were like, we have no idea. And so Kylie volunteered to come in and do some photos for us. And that was a fun experience having her.
Yeah.
That was hilarious and fun at the same time. And she was trying to be sort of gentle with us, but she was like, okay, girls, like, put your arms down.
Yeah.
Not sure it's my hands.
Still, right? Stand still. Yeah, it was definitely family and friends, right, Linda?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my favorite kind of thing. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah.
And then evolving a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
You're right. It is hard to do that sometimes. And I think evolving a little bit. Then we did a new photo shoot, and we had, again, speaking of the friends and family, and Logan, you should give a shout out.
Tim Meyer. Yeah. He's a great dude. Great work. Does some freelance stuff. I know he works for the School of Mines now. He does like a lot of their media content and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, he's my go-to guy. Same thing. Talk about, meeting with teams and being able to learn how to branch out. I think that was something for me that as silly as it might have been, it was something that I got out of this work process that we started together that I didn't know was maybe something that I needed. that I didn't realize
Yeah.
that like being able to communicate and delegate and say like, oh, I know somebody who can do that, and building that kind of network and connection together was, I think, something that I'd always wanted to do. I just didn't know how to do it, and this gave that kind of some agency. And then I felt a lot more capable of asking somebody like, hey, I need you here at 9. We're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. And I think that was something that I probably was really missing when it came to like the project management side of what I was doing, of taking the leadership role,
I love that.
Me too.
Well, and then Emily Tarr-Wheelin came in and started doing some of the admin stuff behind the scenes. So it does take a village.
It does.
And
it's not a one-person effort.
You're going to do it well. Right? Which all of us are, we're never going to jump into anything that we're not going to put our best foot forward in. And so it did. It took it took a village to help us to get here. And then we got to celebrate, having, I think we're up to like 520 followers on LinkedIn now. And we just, we finished with our 53rd episode, which was
1,300 downloads.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Hundreds, thousands of views now on our YouTube stuff. So
I know.
Yeah. I'll go into my husband's office every so often, and he's got YouTube up and like on one of his side screens. And like I see us, our podcast episodes.
Clips,
and I'm like, it's so weird.
It is weird,
it's
right?
So cool.
Yeah.
It's so weird at the same time.
It really is. Yeah. Well, and then we got a chance to reconnect with some really amazing people along the way. Our last episode we did with Tisha Deden, it was fun to connect with her and LaToya Lindsey and Jennifer Fairweather and Tamara Dixon. These are all people from our city and county of Denver days and our McData days, where we got to really reconnect with old friends and colleagues who we don't, you didn't get to see that much. And all of a sudden here we were, and it was like we picked up like we'd never skipped a beat at all, right?
I mean, I think about Carrie Lehtonen, Linda, and her sharing her story of having a heart attack at 30 years old.
Yes.
And like we hadn't been in contact with her for many years.
Yeah.
So it gave us the vehicle and the reason to reconnect. And I'm just so appreciative of everyone who was willing to and put their faith in us to come onto the show with us, and just so graciously sharing where they are personally, professionally, and otherwise. It was just, it was beautiful. Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
It's true.
And then, kind of like a big lead back, we got to connect with Shelie Gustafson. I mean, and she's, she was a big wig out there doing incredible things on a global level. And so having an opportunity to reconnect with her was really incredible as well. Because like for me, I hadn't talked to Shelie, gosh, probably in 20 years or more. Wow. So
same. And she was one of my mentors. So it was great to reconnect.
And this is it. I think that's the beauty of this type of platform. One, obviously I know that we do it for, to kind of build the resources for other people and that kind of stuff. But the personal, gratification that you kind of get out of that is, one, for me, I've learned so much just listening in on these conversations and, taking those types of pieces.
Me too.
But the piece that I think a lot of people miss out is that's important, and we live in a very technology based age, and we don't really interact in the same way that we used to. And I think that's honestly why I love podcasts. Is it's the best part about it is it's people having a conversation and being privy to that and understanding that and seeing how those things impact people, and honestly how important it is to maintain that connection, and to do that type of stuff. So if there's something to take forward out of that, I mean, if it's that, it's like, don't let those things stop you. Make sure, reach out to those people, communicate with them. Even if it's not just to be on your show, if it is just the check-in that kind of stuff too.
That's right. Yeah.
No, I think that this gives us a vehicle, because in the work world, it's hard. People are busy and they,
so hard. Yeah. No,
I
And the
agree.
cool thing about it, though, that to the technology side of it, though, is that because of technology, we were able to stay in connection through LinkedIn.
Yep.
So, like, even though I hadn't talked to some of our guests in many, many years, I've been following their careers,
Right. Same here.
celebrating their successes and getting to see all of that through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely an incredible platform and a great way to stay in contact with those people.
Shout out
for
LinkedIn
sure.
if they want to sponsor us or something.
That's right. Shout out to LinkedIn. That's right. That's right.
That'd be
Exactly.
a good one.
That would be a good one. No, for sure. Well, Cyndi, when we started the podcast, we kind of had a vision to create a space where, women could really feel seen and supported. I mean, we weren't
Indeed.
exclusionary with men by any means, but I mean, really the focus was for women, and to have a platform, especially to support them in their professional and their personal journeys. So kind of looking back, what stands out most to you?
Good question. So much. How do I boil the ocean down to three
Right?
drops?
Exactly.
I think honestly, it kind of does go back to just the vulnerability that people were willing to, to come on to share the good and the bad, also like
Yeah.
lessons learned and things. I think also the community. So back to what you were saying, Logan. It's that connection and community. And it's like, I think about Tisha, the last episode that we did with Tisha, and
Yeah.
even her first one. It's, hey guys, check this out. I tried this and this really worked. Let me share with you how we did this.
Right.
Yes.
And like when we talked to Tamara and Jennifer, and they were talking about HR and public sector and how that's different, and how, your mindset is different in public sector. And
Yes.
there's just like even our interns, right? We did the one with Reagan
Yeah.
Lewis and with Lauren Banas, and they came on and so eloquently, much more eloquently than I'm apparently talking today, but and just shared with us what their journey was. And look at the two of them, they've
I know.
grown so much. So, and even the new people that we got to meet along the way too, Charlotte Otter and other folks that have made an impression, and that everyone was willing to share something, a gold nugget, which
sure.
I think was a big deal for us too.
I
It was,
think
we
so,
want
too.
to share something. How about you,
Yeah.
Linda?
At the Delta Principle, we are transforming the way you experience change. Have you ever experienced an organizational change where your employees pushed back because it was too much, too fast, or they just didn't understand why they couldn't do things the way they've always done them? What about where communication was non-existent or unorganized, with important updates getting lost in the shuffle, leaving people confused? And have you ever experienced change where morale was at an all-time low because the change felt overwhelming and not aligned with your organization's culture? If you are being asked to lead an important organizational change, especially if you're new to leading change, or if you're just feeling overwhelmed, the Delta Principle is here to support you. We work closely with you as a trusted partner, co-creating real-world solutions to address your unique challenges, and we equip you and your organization for future success. Are you gearing up for your next transformation journey, or exploring ways to strengthen your change management skills? Then let's connect. This year, we're thrilled to introduce Leading Change, a training designed for leaders driving organizational initiatives, and Navigating Change, a training tailored to empower teams and adapting to change with confidence. Our coaching and training sessions are fully customizable to meet your organization's unique needs. Reach out today to see how we can partner with you to make your next change a success. You can find us on LinkedIn or by emailing us at info@thedeltaprinciple.com.
It's funny. I was talking to Dr. Angela the other day, and
love her.
we were. Me too. She was like, "Well, I kind of stumbled on that podcast a little bit," and I said, "You
She
did
was great.
fantastic. You had no idea you making that transition, and you did wonderful on it." But she was telling me that there was one of the episodes. She's like, she listens to all of our episodes, so she's become a fan as well, which has been really fun. And she said she was listening to one of the episodes, and it was like, it really resonated with her. She's like, even though it was focused on human resources in that particular one, she said she was able to apply it to her job today and what
I love
she's
that.
doing. And kind of like it empowered her to take a little more control of like what she wants to do for the future. Because while she loves her role today, that's not her passion. Her
Mhm.
passion is something different. And so how can she transition to making her passion a reality? And that just touched me so
There
much.
you go.
Plus, we've created this amazing community as well. So you mentioned Charlotte. I love watching what's going on with Margaret Andrews, Danaya
Yes.
Wilson. I mean,
Yes.
gosh, what a great
She's a
story that
powerhouse.
was. Yes. And
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
she has stepped out of her comfort zone. Like she's out speaking all over the place and spreading the
Yes.
word on change makers. That was incredible. I feel good about connecting with Joni Goodman. Like she's doing some
Mm.
really cool stuff with Rappel, and
She's
I
cool.
love watching what she's doing out there as well. And so you can't, the incomparable Stacey Lewis,
gonna
who
say.
we get.
Yes.
Love her.
Yep. I mean, our amazing partner Ty Cochran, who came along with us and did
Yes.
some special episodes.
6 episodes with her, and yeah.
No, so it was
So
just
good.
really incredible to just kind of look back. And what I think it taught me is that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to put yourself out there. And if people want to judge you, they're going to judge you anyway. But
For sure.
you don't
Yeah.
have to hide behind it, right? Just
For sure.
put it out there, and life
Yeah.
goes on.
And there's
that's
just a
it.
lot of ignorance out there. So if anything, that's kind of my thought. I see some of the real sideways comments that people love to throw out on the internet and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I just think that
Yes.
if anything, that's the proof of why we do this, is
Yeah.
because, you still see so many people that are just, unwilling to recognize the world around them. And I think bringing that light to it, I remember, as silly as it is, not to speak ill on it, but I remember we had one comment that was we were talking about female empowerment and leadership. And one of the comments was about how, well, they made it political, basically. Like, well, Hillary or Kamala were they were just not
The
good
only
options.
two
Blah, blah, blah.
women
I'm like,
in the
they're the only two
entire
women
world.
leaders
Yes.
you can think of, and that's the problem here. It's like that. This is the whole point. I think it was a Charlotte Otter episode. Of just saying like that's part of it. And I think so. If we're raising awareness, and sometimes it does upset some people because they don't think that way, but I think that's kind of the point of what
That's okay.
what we're doing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring that awareness to them and make them recognize
right.
because. I've been led by women my whole life. I think I was lucky because I had really good female role models. I had really close female friends, and I never really saw, luckily for me, I just never got that other perspective of it. So coming into it now, I'm just like, if I can be an actual ally and a part of something that is beneficial, then that's what I would
Well,
rather
thank you
do
for
than-
being that. I do think too, like to your point, Logan, if it creates that awareness and curiosity,
Right.
and whether it's upsetting to people or not, like we just kind of put stuff out there and we were genuine about it, and
Exactly.
we're not like we're caring people, and
Right.
this is who I am, and you don't have to that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
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 I know.
Yeah.
I
But
totally
we were true to
agree.
ourselves, all of us,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
it.
remember on one of the episodes, I was like kind of pussyfooting around something or being a little, cautious. And Linda was like, just put it out there, Cyndi. And
That's right. Just say it.
Just say it.
Yeah.
And we just, so we did, but with grace and caring. So
Exactly. Yeah. It comes from a place of
it.
actually wanting to do this, and I think that's kind of the thing about these projects is it's a labor of love because it's something that you want to do, and like, that's how you should feel about it. And were there moments as we worked where it felt like completely overwhelming? And there were moments where we were like, I don't know what we're doing.
Never.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Never happened. But, it's great to learn that because that's kind of the thing about this industry is it's all based on your own individualism. And I think that's what's awesome about it because it allows you to open those doors for yourself. But I think that's the craziest part about it is like, there's not going to be a playbook. There's not going to be a book you can read that just tells you exactly how to do this kind of work or how to, put it out there. You just have to be authentic. And I think that, when we've talked about authenticity a lot and realness and that kind of stuff. And I think that is kind of, especially it's difficult in these spaces for people to maintain. And if you can do anything great with your life, it's that, it's remain authentic to what you're doing and speak your piece and be honest about it. Because every time I've ever seen it go the other way is when things go bad. So if there's any proof in the pudding, it's like, well, these are the steps you could do, and you'd feel better at least. Maybe they blow up in your face, but you didn't feel bad about it.
That's
Logan,
true.
you're awesome.
No, I agree.
You're just
and
simply
awesome. We've all had warts and mishaps and stumbles along the way, and it's like that's a part of being human. It's a part of living your life. And I had a gentleman who had reached out to me the other day on LinkedIn and said, I said, I want to commend you for all of the positive messaging that you're putting out there. And he said, why do you do it? And I said, well, I do it because there's enough negativity in the world today. We don't need to bring a negative spin on things. What we really want to do is focus in. And I think we were real about it, though, because women still have a long way to go. We are still dealing with a lot of adversity and challenges and things that are happening and out there. We definitely have not, made it yet. But but we can approach it in a way that's positive. So we can celebrate the successes that we have had and then lift each other up on the journey to get where we want to go. So
exactly.
That's right. That's a part of it. How do we lift each other up?
That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, we had also Brian Myers who came on who
such a great ally.
Talked about relationship building. And he's such a big believer in that. And it is a lot of life is just about relationships and just treating people with kindness and so
and being genuine.
No.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And paying attention to them. I think that's the other side about it is everybody, it's easy to get caught up in your own world. If anything, that's what, as silly as this, that's one of the reasons why I love editing podcasts is it's because it's being there for that conversation, you know what I mean? Is and just listening to it is it's one of the best things you could do for yourself, really, I think, is to just be engaged in that and to kind of turn yourself off out for a second and go, okay, let me take in this information and actually be whole about it and instead of, trying to spin it in some other way. It's funny too, I'm not on it. So sometimes I'll be listening to y'all. I'm like, oh, I have a great idea. Maybe I should pop it in real quick and let them know, but it's just in that process. I think that it's kind of helped me at least in that mindset of just, let me learn something out of this. Let me take something away from this. And also let me give this person the space to do that. Because that's really what we set ourselves up for this whole time. It was let's give somebody a space to be able to tell that story and be able to communicate that.
Totally agree. No. Well, Cyndi, you've brought so much energy and heart to the show. Honestly, your insights on change management and leadership and courage in the face of transition have really inspired a lot of our listeners out there. And so, I really thank you for everything that you've done.
100%.
And kind of before we look ahead, I just want to take a moment to talk about gratitude because this podcast has really grown because of the people around it, our guests, our listeners, but especially you, Cyndi, and you, Logan. And, so I just want to take a minute to kind of talk a little bit about what I'm thankful for. And it is our guests who have joined the show. It is our listeners who have supported us. It's you, Cyndi, and being my co-host in all of this. And you, Logan, on doing all of the heavy lifting behind the scenes to make it all happen. So absolutely. No, for sure. But what about you guys? What are you grateful for?
Do you want to go first, Cyndi? Or do you want me to?
Sure. All of what you said, Linda, and thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.
It has been a pleasure and a learning experience. And that's, for me, the older I get, the less the holidays and things like that, a lot of times it's oh, what's the Hallmark card or what's the gift?
Yes.
Or, to me, it's what is the experience? And it's not just at those specific days and times. It's what's your experience throughout your life. And kind of what we talked with Michael Abebe about, I really am a big believer in leave the world better than how you came into it. And I feel hopefully this was a little flower seed that we planted that will leave the world just a little bit better than what we came into it with. So that's what I'm grateful for.
100%.
Logan, what about you?
Yeah, from a hard skills side, I was very I loved being able to, and still love working on something that has longevity behind it. I think so much of what I've done in the past is always like, okay, it's done. Here you go, your problem now, and being a part of something that, I've been able to consult on and communicate. And, we've really worked at this all together. And, I know I said it before, but, just to say it on camera, Cyndi, like working with you from like the administrative side and learning a lot of the ways that you handle those like behind the scenes things and like spreadsheets, stuff like that just, I never had a reference for, I just didn't really have
management side of her.
Yeah. And like, I'm so appreciative of that, of just even like going, oh, that makes sense. It's like, that's a good way to handle this, because so much stuff is just, it's easy to fly past you. And especially when it comes to like independent projects or when you're, especially for me, because I'm usually an individual contributor in my roles, it's crazy to go, wow, I've done this 53 times, and we've done this, and we've proved it and it gets growing and it gets better and just see something like that, you know what I mean? And be able to actually like have a kind of legacy about it that we can look back at that and go, wow, look at all this we've been able to do and accomplish. That I think, that's where I get my fulfillment out of work, and to probably my family's dismay or my friends or whatever. I'm just very driven about purposeful. I like to do purposeful work. I don't like to do stuff that I don't see.
That's a good thing.
And that's how I look at it, but when it's different when you're a kid and people are like, why did you get a real job? But for me now, I built it out and that's what I was trying to do, and I think that this was kind of a proof of that to myself because I don't know that I knew if I could do it. If I knew that I could take on a long-term project and say like, let's have a weekly meeting and let's do this all the time. You know what I mean? Because I think so much of what I've done before is just always like finish the task, turn it over, finish the task, turn it over. And, I just love being a part of this process and being able to work on something like that. And then, back to the gratitude side of just being very thankful for the network we've been able to build, the communication that we've been able to have with people, and being able to kind of show that and for me, it's just nice to know that, I feel like I'm a part of something, if that makes sense. And especially when you're a tech worker, you don't always get that feeling, you're like, I'm the one that made it there, but nobody cares about me, and I don't think I look for and I don't look for the glory in that perspective, but it's nice to be involved, to feel like your voice is heard and that you're, a part of actually what's happening. And so that was like honestly the best blessing I think I had out of all of this from my perspective, at least.
Such a good life lesson too, Logan. People just want to feel heard, feel valued, be a part of something.
Yeah, 100%.
Belonging, right? It's
that's
part
right.
of it. No. Yeah,
that's right.
I totally agree. Well, and I really think that gratitude is the heartbeat of the Her Resources podcast. It's really what keeps us grounded and connected and inspired and keeps us growing because I think, in every situation, I know I've learned something from every single one of our guests. I continue to learn from the two of you. It has really been one of those things. And I'm just incredibly grateful for the opportunity to do that and to have the, have a chance to do this amazing podcast. But as we do transition, and as we close this chapter, I do want our listeners to know that the Her Resources podcast isn't going anywhere. And the conversations are going to continue. And I'm excited to step into this next phase as your solo host. It won't be the same without you, Cyndi, but I'm excited about the opportunity to continue the message and to continue the conversation for sure. And I just want everybody to know too, like this is not the end for Cyndi. She is our resident change management expert, and she'll be back again as a guest. Exactly.
And maybe when things slow down, come back for a few episodes.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. You never know. Life evolves. Absolutely. And we're going to keep bringing those same powerful conversations, some new voices and deep dives into the topics that we've covered that really matter most to women. I mean, I think about I'll bring in Alana on and talking about financial wellness. And, it's like, I think about all of those exciting things. And so, we're going to keep talking about leadership, self-care, career transitions. We were just chatting before the podcast about more and more women are leaning into entrepreneurship. So,
Yeah.
how can we help and really focus in on that purpose-driven growth? So, so I say to you, Cyndi, is like, what message would you like to leave our listeners with as you take this next step back into the journey you're on?
Yeah, just I'm so thankful. My heart is full. I'm so appreciative of this experience and of all of you, and Linda and Logan, especially of the two of you. And thank you for just allowing me to be a part of this and to spend an hour or however long for each of these episodes that people have listened. I really do appreciate that because time is valuable. So I will never forget this experience. It has been amazing. It's been more amazing than I even thought it would be.
Same.
If that's
Same.
possible. So,
Yeah. Oh, no. Absolutely.
Thank
And in the
you.
highs and the lows of it, I think that's been the best part of it. Is that this has always kind of been like a really nice reprieve.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
sometimes
for
it's just
sure.
just even shooting,
No.
like the episodes themselves. Like as silly as this for me, I'm like, I like that part more than I like the editing. Like I like sitting there listening. I get the first version nobody else gets to hear.
That's right.
All the funny bloopers.
All the funny bloopers and that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I know. Well, you do such a great job editing it all that no one ever gets to hear some of that.
There's never been a blooper. Everything's
never
always
been a
real
blooper.
perfect.
It's always been perfect. First
No
take,
tech
so.
issues, nothing.
No technical issues. Always perfect. The first go round for sure. So, well, I want to thank you, Cyndi, for your heart, your partnership, the laughter along the way. I've had so much fun on this journey with you, and to our listeners, thank you for being a part of this journey. And I can't wait to share what's coming next. So
I'll be watching.
And I'm throwing a call to action real quick too for anybody that is listening still. If there's anything you want to hear covered, if there's any topics that we check the comments, we check and see what people are wanting to talk about, so we've already kind of done that, but we always invite more of that engagement. And that's really what we're looking for as we're branching into this next year. So feel free to let us know, something that you think would be a very important thing to hear about, because that's the other side. We're just people too. We don't have all the answers. We don't even know the problems sometimes. So bringing that to the attention, and I think that's kind of been our ethos this whole time, is communication, and doing that in a way that is beneficial to each, to the parties that are involved in it, instead of it just feeling like voids, just going out into the nothingness. So you're heard if you speak on, let us know. That's
right. We do pay attention to the comments and our guests. So for sure, and our listeners. Well, we do want to let you know, as we transition, we are going to take a couple weeks off just so we can transition over from where we were and where we're going. But again, like I say, the Her Resources podcast will still be there, and we're excited to continue along this journey with all of you. And if you've enjoyed this episode or any of our episodes, please follow and share the Her Resources with your friends and colleagues. And you can connect with us, and please still connect with Cyndi. She's got an incredible business out there, the Delta Principle, which she will be continuing to grow and with her business and all the amazing things that she's out there doing. But you can connect with us on LinkedIn, follow our podcast on all your major streaming what's the word?
Services?
Streaming platforms.
Will that be blooped out?
Streaming issues, definitely. I don't know what the hell those are.
Things, so whatever you listen to your podcasts on. And also you can check out our website at the herresourcespodcast.com as well. So, but yeah, thanks everyone. Thank you, Cyndi. Thank you, Logan. And until we see each other again.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the HR Her Resources podcast. We're so happy to have you with us on this journey. Music and production by Logan Misegadis of LJM Productions. We'd also like to thank our intern, Lauren Banas, for creating our logo and supporting our social media postings. If you'd like to connect with Logan or Lauren, you can find their information in the show notes. If you found value in our discussion and think someone else might as well, please follow, subscribe to our LinkedIn, and share with a friend. Until our next episode, please take care and continue to support one another.